have MS. The doctor said it.
What?
I mean, I feel like somebody has beat me with a bat, right? I gotta go to the hospital. I feel bad. I'm not feeling well. Like, I feel like literally, like, you know how you work out really well and like your whole body is sore? Like, that's how my whole body felt. So I ended up getting to the hospital. My grandmother at the time was a nurse at DMC in the ER. So they sent me back and I'm like, Grandma, I'm still not feeling good. And she's like, okay, well, we're gonna check you out, this and this and this. So they called my doctors. I'm like, well, I've been getting worked up by my doctors, this and this. So I'm in there. All I hear my grandma crying. My grandma, and if you guys ever met my grandma, you would know, understand what, because my grandma was a crier, right? Okay. And she like had this high pitched voice. Oh my God, like, oh, she was so extra, right? So I just hear, I'm like, Grandma, what's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, I have MS. The doctor said it. What? You know. So I was like, I was so relieved.
Because they found out what it was.
Because
you go through so much.
I'm speeding through the story, but you gotta understand, it's like 3 or 4 months. I'm off of work. I'm like, I know something. Everybody keeps telling me they don't know what's wrong with me, but I know something's wrong with me. Something's crazy going on with my body.
What's up, everybody? It's Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
Hey guys, it's your girl Tyra Nicole.
Hey everybody, I am Nicole Pay,
and you are watching the RPR podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Realest People in Real Estate podcast, where we talk about the real shit, not about real estate. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Tyra Nicole.
Hey everybody, I am Nicole Pay, and today we have realtor, investor, team lead, and co-owner, Title Icon. I had to think about that for a minute. Thank you so much, Danielle Dunham, for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
This weather, I already know you don't like driving in the rain. So how did you do coming in?
Oh my gosh. Like, you know how the roads are kind of like shimmery and shiny?
Oh yeah, it's awful.
When it's dark and it's raining and you can't see the white lines?
Yeah.
And on top of it, I had all my family like calling me on the way here because we're in the middle of trying to book flights right now, guys.
For your trip.
For our trip.
My gosh, we do that all the time.
So my cousin's getting married out of the country at the end of June, and so we're all trying to get these flights booked, but it's been just like a headache because everybody's going at different times. People want to go into different parts of Europe before they go there because they want the most of the trip. And I'm terrified of flying, so I'm like, I'm not flying by myself, you know? So it's been crazy.
So you guys, wait, end of June and you don't have flights yet? It's March. Oh, sorry. I'm not trying to add any more pressure, but girl.
But these
are they insane?
Have you been watching them? Oh yeah.
They're freaking me out.
No, I know. Yeah. A lot's been going on. I know. We usually talk about hot topics. The rain was awful driving, especially 75. You're what? What's wrong?
What's your high?
Oh, 75 and all the semi trucks. I'm over it. And the construction and you can't see anything. So we usually touch base on hot topics.
No, I'm still short.
Now you're too short?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good? We always worry about it, right? So hot topic. I mean, we're not even getting into politics shit. We're not.
There's a lot going on.
Because there's a lot going on. Diddy's been quiet, so we can't really talk about him. Nothing's been going on with that.
There are some more indictments that just came up.
I was going to say, did we talk about that?
And more indictments with who? Who came?
Diddy. It's like more lawsuits or whatever.
Oh, didn't one of the girls from one of the bands that what was her name? No, wait, what did you say?
Didn't Aubrey just go live and say something?
Oh, she did something on The Masked Singer, didn't she?
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch it, but she said something. I saw it all over like TMZ and stuff like that. She said something on The Masked Singer, and everyone got real quiet and didn't want to say anything.
Well, Sarah from Making the Band, she's the most recent one that filed.
She's from Making the Band?
Yeah.
I knew she was from something.
Yeah, she was one of them from Making the Band.
So he's got another indictment.
Yeah, because Dawn did one too.
I knew Dawn did one. But wasn't she on the fence about not knowing if wasn't she the one that was kind of on the fence and still defending
No,
Diddy?
That was the other girl that was in the
There's
group.
too many of them. That's bad. I can't keep
you remember Dirty Money, the group?
No? Dirty Money?
It was Dawn and another girl.
Oh.
They had that song. It doesn't.
What song?
Yeah, what song? Do you know the name? Dirty Money.
Yeah, it was called... Do you remember?
I know the group. I know you're talking about, but they had one song, and then Diddy had some songs, and it was the background singer.
Yeah. Dirty Money.
It was a hit song, though. I actually used
You
to
liked
like
it?
the song. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But whatever.
So there's that, and then you and your plane crashes. We're not going to talk about that either. Now what? What?
Have we been here since the Super Bowl performance?
No.
Oh, the Kendrick?
Yeah, we
Kendrick.
Are y'all watching the TikTok?
Yeah.
Like everybody's doing the TikTok off of.
Did you see the groom?
Really
Did you see that?
that's
One? I
so
like
cute.
watched that over and over
That was
again.
so cute.
That was so like his best man. He like he went.
Oh, yeah,
Did you
I
see
saw
that?
that. Yeah.
His best man was like, I'm in it. I'm performing. So that was so cute though. It was really cute, and I loved how everyone went hype. But do we want to get into that? Like what everyone thought about it?
I mean, it's a little old now, but I just wondered if everybody been seeing.
Go ahead.
TikTok.
Did you guys see Tiana Taylor and Pierre?
Yes, I
everybody's
did.
gonna freak out
Everyone's
with
talking
Basa.
about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw the picture, but I didn't really get it. What was it about? Are they together? Or?
I think
Yeah.
they're trying to hit towards theater yet.
Well, didn't they took a
yeah.
photo shoot?
Because they've
Didn't
been
they?
spotted, like people have been spotting them different places, like different award shows and things like that.
Okay.
And then it's like, then she just busts out with that. It's like all these rumors going around. So I
Did
don't
she
know.
ever get a divorce? Or?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
She
she
was
was
divorced for a
divorced
good while.
for a while.
Yeah.
Man, that black and white picture that they took, there's too many beautiful people
I
in
know.
that picture.
The
and it
comments was
shouldn't-
so funny. I think that's the best thing.
It
about
should
I
not
just
be
like the
allowed.
comments. What were they saying?
Like I don't know if he took my man or he took my woman or something like it's just crazy. Like they just perfect.
And then
couple.
Zadarius Smith and Cash Doll.
Oh yeah,
That's a whole
Are they together?
I mean,
they just
it's-
went to Africa.
Yeah, it's
They
a
ain't
pretty.
staying
Oh,
here.
I saw her.
Yeah, so he plays for. Do you know who he is? He plays for. I could tell.
I know Cash now.
He plays
That's
for the
what she was
Lions. He's
talking
like
about.
he was like one of our latest picks, like trades, and it was one of like the best trades we did, and we.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got. So I'm huge
What did he
football.
play?
Oh,
you get me to read
that
this.
was. I saw
Yeah,
him.
huge. Like we
Okay.
start talking football, and everyone's like, But he came in and he like made a statement, and it was when Aiden Hutchinson was out. They brought him
He's a
into.
defenseman?
Yeah, they brought him in to fill that position, and he was so excited to come to Detroit. Like, hands down, so excited, wanted to be here. But then there were rumors that he was going to get traded again, and then all of a sudden you see him out with Cash Doll. So now people are like,
Did y'all watch
Darius ain't going nowhere.
Club Shay Shay interview with her?
No, I didn't.
watched
Was it a
it.
good one?
I've seen some clips.
Was
Yeah,
it good? Is it worth
really
watching?
Good. It was really good. I watched the whole thing.
And she talked about like her dancing career and stuff like
Oh,
that.
really?
She talked about all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some videos of them out, so it's kind of funny. Like they're like, he's not going anywhere now. He's
I
in Detroit
saw it,
for a
but
while.
I didn't know who he was.
I was just excited. I'm like, yay, he's staying in Detroit because we need him. Can't wait till Aiden comes back. So, all right,
Yeah.
let's get into it. Welcome,
right.
Danielle.
Thank you guys.
So we're gonna dive into it. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Oak Park.
Oak Park?
Michigan. Yeah.
Okay.
All your life?
Not all my life. I lived sometime in Detroit, but I went to middle school and high school in Oak Park, and my grandma lived there my whole life, so that was where I spent most of my time.
Gotcha. So your grandma took care of you, raised you?
No. Yeah, yes and no. I live with my parents, but you know your grandma, you go to your grandma's house every
Yeah.
weekend,
Yeah,
you
right.
know. So, but then I started going to school out there, and my parents moved out there too.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, Oak Park. I claim Oak Park more than anything. I used to, but we did prior to that. I used to live in Rosedale Park. So
Okay.
So what was it like growing up? Were you like good Danielle student? Are there some mischievous parts of Danielle growing up that we can talk about?
So I was like the person that I always got good grades.
Okay.
I would have all A's and like 3s in citizenship. So like I'll do my work, but if I get done and I'm talking to everybody, or like I get in trouble, but they ain't gonna suspend me because my grade's good.
Okay.
Like I knew how to I guess ride the line a little bit.
Okay. So did you get in trouble a lot, or?
You know what? Not for real. Kind of like high school, and that was kind of more so like the girls, the thing, getting into it with people and things like being a teenager. But like middle school and stuff, I didn't really get in trouble.
Did you have siblings, or do you have siblings?
I have a brother. He's 42. Then I have 2 younger siblings. So we got a little age gap, 28 and 26.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it like?
I was gonna say
growing
what
up
was.
with your siblings?
All right. So my brother and me have the same mom and dad. So we grew up in the same household, but my brother is so much older than me. So I remember it being elementary school, he in high school, so he was more so like dad, brother. Like, he didn't play with me a little bit, but not really. He was a teenager the whole time. I was really a kid. So that was cool. And so it was like I was the only child or the baby at my mom's house. Okay. When it came to my dad's side, my dad got remarried, and then he had my 2 little sisters. So I was the oldest at that house, and my brother was 21 gone by that time.
What was it like juggling that, like being in 2 separate households but having 2 different roles in them?
Dang, I never really reflected back on that. One household, I was the person that cleaned up all the time because I had 2 little sisters. The other household, I was spoiled. My mama probably cleaned up after me. Okay. I didn't have to do much. But I did prefer. It was just dad and mom, so I was a daddy's girl. So I did prefer my dad's household, even though I was the oldest, had to clean up. But I was spoiled, you know.
Okay.
So, like, growing up, did you split households, or were you primarily with your dad and your little sisters?
No, I was primarily with my mom up until I got to middle school and I wanted to go to school at Oak Park. Okay. So I had cousins that lived in Oak Park. Yeah. So, like, let me just say this. Oak Park goes deep. Okay. So, my grandmother was one of the first African-American families that moved to Oak Park. So
amazing.
She bought her house in, like, the end of the 60s.
Okay.
70s. So... Not only is my brother, my dad, my uncles, everybody went to Oak Park, elementary, middle school, high school, all of that. So then they're friends, and they're like, you know how your mom's friends is your auntie, your uncles, and your cousins. But then like my mom and dad, they were together for so long since they was like 16. So then like my mom's brother had a baby by the neighbor in Oak Park. So, you know, like, so like my cousins, their grandparents lived in Oak Park. So,
so you guys were real deep. Like, you were deep.
Oak Park run deep. Yeah.
So, do you have a lot of family still there?
No, my cousin and I, both our grandparents' houses is still there. Both our grandparents is no longer living. So, like, my uncle is my dad passed away. So, my uncle is, still has my grandmother's house, and her mom still has her grandfather's house.
That's awesome.
So, we still, you know, we still got a house to go to.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I can't imagine selling a childhood
No, we never sell it.
Yeah.
No,
we were having this conversation recently. You know, my parents paid off the house, my childhood house. I've lived in one house my entire life, which is crazy.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And, you know, they were talking about, passing down the house to one of us, you know, one day. And I was like, I can't imagine putting this house up for sale. Like, how sad would that be?
We call it the family house.
Yeah.
Like, so if you need somewhere to stay, like, that's the house you go stay at.
That's so good.
Like, just got to make sure the taxes is paid and the bills, stuff like that. Because one thing my grandmother loved was her house. Like, so in Oak Park, it's a small community. So they always have these beautification awards.
Okay.
So, like, it's certain houses throughout Oak Park will win different beauty. My grandma won every year. Her flowers was immaculate. Her yard, her outside, like she had a garden in the backyard with flowers going around.
I love that. That's
like
awesome.
Her house has changed. Like if you look at her pictures from the 70s, she had a pool in the backyard. Then she took the pool away. Then she built a 2-car garage. Like she just constantly improved her house. So it's like, if nothing else, we got to keep this house. Because she loved that house more than anything.
That's how it is with my grandmother's house, though. Like, nobody could ever imagine us, like, getting rid of it. And now it's, like, the family house. Like, whenever we go out there, like, everybody goes.
Oh, you guys still have it?
Yeah. Okay. It's like we'll never sell that.
Yeah. No,
I was trying to think. I had the same house from, like, 4. And then my mom, it got too big once I moved out. So at 30-ish, my mom sold it. And what is weird is going back by that house.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not upset. Honestly, I'm not, because the neighborhood went down really fast. And none of the people, like, but I remember growing up and having that feeling like everyone on the block knew each other.
Yeah.
Everyone had that camaraderie. So I'll never forget, like, even me trying to get away, like my mom would be at work and I'd have friends over, and then all of a sudden my mom would pop up and be like, oh, hey, find out the neighbor called, like, hey, Nikki's got people at the house, just want to let you know. So I remember, like, that growing up, and it's hard to find that camaraderie with neighbors anymore, you know what I mean? Like, it's so that's a pretty awesome achievement to have a house in the family for that long.
Yeah,
definitely.
Are you guys still doing the garden and all that stuff? No.
It's so funny. So my grandmother, I'm traumatized by plants. So everybody always laugh, right? My friends. So I had a grandma, like, it was a plant everywhere. Like, you couldn't even go in the living room because there was plants everywhere. So I hate plants. Like, not really? Like, I like to look at them. I think they're pretty. I think they're nice. But do I got plants in my house? No. Like, I'm traumatized. Like, I mean, you literally couldn't walk.
Fake plants? No, like nothing?
I got like a little flake plant in my office because it looked nice, but not in my house. Like, I'm so traumatized. So, no, I don't have a green thumb. I did get plants and stuff. And, you know, when people die, you sometimes get the little funeral plants. Somebody gave me a money tree. I kill everything. I forget. Out of sight, out of mind. Some people treat them like pets. Or,
I love my plants.
I totally forget.
You just got to get an aloe plant.
I love those.
You want what's funny? That's one plant I killed was the aloe plant. I overwatered it. I overwatered it.
So, question, do you guys grow up with a lot of plants, though?
Yes.
Yes. My mom did.
So my mom was like that.
My grandma. Like,
so my friend was like that. She we used to go. I remember going to her house as a kid, and it used to be a plant. Like, we could never go to her living room with plants everywhere. She sat there. Her mom used to always tell her to go water the plants. And then she got a house, and her house is full of plants. And she got like a 2-year-old. And I'm like, he about to tear up all those plants. No, he better not touch my plants. I'm like, yes he is. Yes he is. She's like, no, he know better. I was like, ugh. I'm like, how did you grow up and do this? When you tired of watering them plants?
I've like even rerouted like I've cut like pieces off and grown like new plants from them.
So I come over and get a piece of your plant.
A piece of it. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
I even have like the watering stick that you like put in it and it tells you like it's like so have you ever seen those globes that you can like fill up with water and like then you dump in it and it naturally have it?
Old-fashioned water.
Well, because
you gotta get the milk jug and fill it up with water and then go out.
So no, they're like glass globes and you can fill them up and then you just dump it over and it waters it as needed. So it's kind of cool. And then there's a stick like you put in it and it's got a little like thermometer on it that says like needs water, doesn't need water.
Sense to invent something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm still old school. I'm still old school with just the regular.
Yeah. Just the regular watering.
I like vegetable gardens or like, you know, where you can.
That's what she said. So
that's the one thing I can't do.
My mom did that.
Yeah.
Like cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, jalapenos. Like we always had those. And so I'll do that. Like that's fun for me, but like actual flowers, probably not.
She would have it mixed up, like so it'd be like some tomatoes over here, it'd be some cucumbers over there, like just mixed up in the plants.
I love that.
I would. I
but
see
it would go
that.
in the yard.
Never. I've tried like they're like start with like that little thing, that thing that you put the seeds in and you start it.
Yeah.
I've never made it past that. I can grow a plant but when it comes to gardening.
No,
it's. I wish I would love to have a garden.
I don't even like outside that much. To garden. I'm being honest. I am not.
Are you a homebody?
I am a homebody.
Okay.
I am a homebody. But like, I'm just not a sit out in the sun type person.
Oh,
like
okay.
I like literally. So my first house I bought was in Livonia. Like my first house had a double lot, like half of a lot and a half. So it was a nice size backyard.
Yes.
And I remember, like, when I was getting ready to set a house, like, I do not want a big backyard. Like, I purposely looked for a house that did not have a big backyard.
That's funny.
Because I'm like, I had a deck, and that's all I did. I didn't go out in the yard. And my daughter, like, she liked to ride her bike stuff, but that's not the backyard. And she was a little older than that. So, like, my house now is like a patio, a little bit of grass, and some trees.
So you just gotta take the lawnmower like over once, twice, and then you're done.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna do that either. You can get somebody to do that.
So my 2 acres wouldn't.
Oh, no. I love it. Like, I would love to come visit. I know your house. I know you had the best parties. I be thinking about that when I had one to entertain.
I was gonna say,
when I want to entertain,
our house is always like the house to go to. Yeah.
I was like, dang, I should have got a backyard. I'm like, I can't do that.
Except for when your house gets always nominated for it. Like, that's the other thing. Like, let's go to Nikki and Will's house. Which, honestly, I love to entertain. So it really doesn't bother me. But I do. So I grew up opposite. I grew up with no backyard.
Oh,
like we didn't we didn't have a backyard. And so we had a very small space. We had the deck, but very small. So I always knew I wanted that, like, big piece of land. Like I always want. So it was completely opposite. Isn't it funny how your truths when you grow up sometimes define? I mean, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah, it's usually the opposite. Like if you didn't grow up with something, you.
Well, I was an only child and I have 4 kids, so there's that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
True.
So it's
somebody told me my daughter is gonna be like. I mean, not be like that, but. Like, your only child's like to have a lot of kids. I was like, so I'm going to have a lot of grandbabies. That's cool.
So you only have one child. Okay, let's talk about your high school years and then if you went to college. You did go to college? Okay, where'd you go?
Wayne State.
Yay.
Hey,
was it
that was
Tigers
hers.
or was it Warriors?
Warriors.
Warriors.
Yeah.
Go Warriors. How was college? Like, what'd you go to school for?
Healthcare administration.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
It was cool. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've always been like a really worker bee. So I was a commuter. So I got my first apartment at 19. I got in Farmington Hills, like Halstead, and I think it's 10 Mile right there. What was it called? Independence Green. I don't know. I can't. Whatever the apartment. So it was like real popular.
Village Green.
Back
No,
in the day.
Independence Green sounds familiar.
It was
Independence Green.
No, it was the one next to Independence Green. Okay, whatever. But it was super cheap, nice, you in the suburbs. But it
How
was
much
on
did you
Wayne.
pay back then?
Stop
$530.
it.
$530. Had a garden apartment.
Whoa.
In the basement. I was in Farmington Hills. Couldn't tell me nothing.
Wow.
But it was a Wayne State right down on 12 Mile. So it was a commuter.
Okay.
So it was, I took a couple classes there, and then of course I went downtown and took classes there too. I wasn't that so. I mean, I was at work. Like if I got called, I can make a double or make some extra money. And I would go to.
What were you doing?
I was working at the hospital.
Okay.
So, okay. Let me.
What was your
first
job?
So in high school, I was in OSHA. So Oakland County, they got like this little thing you can go for different jobs. So I was in like the little nurse in OSHA. So if you did really good in the classroom, you got a job at Beaumont. So in like 11th grade, like was it 11th?
That's when you like leave early.
Leave early.
Oh,
go
I
to
did
work.
that.
So I used to leave
I did
early,
that.
go to Royal Oak Beaumont and work. So I loved it. Thought I wanted to be a nurse until they had me wipe somebody's butt.
Oh, no.
I feel like it was so inappropriate, y'all. So they had me working on the rehab floor, right? So y'all, mind you, I'm like 16. I have never seen a man naked. So
Oh, no.
this is like all healthcare. I know nurses can talk about, you get lazy people. So we are kids coming in there and we're supposed to help out. So I don't mind helping and working, but they really expect us to be real nurses. They assigned us patients. So they told me to get this man a shower. Do y'all know that's the first time I've seen a opposite man?
Why do they have you do that?
I'm not surprised. They did the same thing to us.
Are you
That's
serious?
healthcare. I was like, what? But I mean, it was cool. Whatever.
At 16,
once you get
That's
past
a
that.
lot, though.
But I was just sitting there, and I was just like, this is a lot of work. I remember I was sitting there like, I want to wear dress-up clothes and go to work. I do not want to wear scrubs and go to work. But so that kind of shit, I'm like, I really like healthcare, but I just don't like that area. So I got more into the administrative side. So I was working at St. John. Was it St. John? Yeah, no, their names have changed so much.
They change all the
So I
time.
was
Still
working
St. John.
it was perfect because I got a job at Botsford, and then I was also when you work in the hospital systems, you can be. I'm sorry, y'all, this hair is bothering me. You could be part time, you could be contingent. So I was part time at Botsford, and then I was contingent at St. John Oakland. So St. John Oakland's on DeQuinder, right? DeQuinder in like 10, 11 miles. So I was working there. I was working in patient registration. St. John, Oakland, and then I was working in the surgical area at Botsford. So I loved it. I was working both jobs, and then one job I think gave me full time. Then from there, I'm still going to school, going to my apartment, going to my little classes, ditching some classes, not going to class. So me and Wayne State, I'm like, Wayne State a little money. I ended up switching. But Wayne State was majority where I got most of my credits from. Got there. I lost my train of thought. Okay, so at St. John, Oakland, I always say this, like I'm real big on like women empowerment. I'm part of a women's board and all that stuff.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Segue right into that perfectly.
So it was a lady there, right? So she worked there, and I was like, she just come in. She was like contingent, so you just come in, work whenever you want. So I mean, I couldn't really tell. She'd come to it. She would just work so fast and things like that. So she was like, this is her second job. She worked at DMC. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, she was like, I'm just working here to try to pay off my student loans. So one day she was like, Danielle, you know what? I always had like these moments where like women would reach down and like pull me up. So she was like, Danielle, I want you to apply for this job on DMC. So I'm like, okay. She was like, you got a resume? I was like, yeah. So I showed her my resume. I'm like, you want to look at it? Here's my resume. And she was like, we're going to change this email. My email was like cardygirl06 at hotmail.com. So she got me together on that, right? Got me to change my email. Stuff like, okay, Shaq, now you go ahead and apply, stuff like that. So I did. So I was like, next time I see her work, they called me in for an interview. She's like, okay, good. Go ahead, make sure you dress professional, go in. So this was downtown DMC, like on Mac and, what were
Woodward, yep.
Yeah, it was like the DMC corporate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Back before everybody bought it and all that stuff. But so I go down there and I'm in this big boardroom, and at the head of the table is this lady I worked with the whole
Stop
time.
it.
She is the director of finances for DMC. Like, I did not know. And so I got into there. So that was really corporate. And was working for Carmanos, and I was working for Children's Hospital, but just doing the billing and stuff like that. So it's like everywhere I went, they just kept like, pulling me up. And so I worked there. I think I still kept, because when you're in a hospital, it's like a nurse. I'm pretty sure everybody has a nurse friend. Yeah. They work at different places.
Keep the contingent.
Yeah, you keep it. So now I'm at DMC. Now I did with contingent at St. John Marosse. And so working both jobs, and then at DMC, I ended up getting sick. That's another segue we can segue into. But I ended up getting sick, and I took some time off. And when I came back, I was like, I need something a little less stressful. So I went back to the St. John Marosse.
Did you get sick from the stress?
No. So let me tell you guys. So let's say I started a job when I was about 21. So 21, one day I went to work and I had vertigo. Okay. So I was like dizzy. So of course I work for a hospital. So send it to the patient. I mean the employee part of the hospital, whatever. So I went there, didn't think anything of it. Next thing I know, coming to work and I have my wrist hurt real bad. And they're like, so I make an appointment now. And I'm like, I must got carpal tunnel. You Google things, right? Yep. So I'm Googling, like, I just got carpal tunnel. So I go, and the doctor like, okay, yeah, we gave me a brace for my wrist. So I'm going home, and I'm just like, my wrist is just hurting. Like, I couldn't sleep. Like, I'm literally putting my hand on the pillow, raising my arm above my head. Like, I'm just so uncomfortable. I'm going to the doctor, all that stuff. And they're like, well, we don't know what's wrong with you. We're just going to call it fibromyalgia, and we'll just run some tests and try to figure out what's going on. So I'm like, okay, well, something's wrong because it's going from my wrist down to my head, my back, all this stuff is just hurting. So they sent me to a rheumatologist, a rheumatologist, and he was like, and I was like, what, they think I got lupus? Like, oh, no, so the rheumatologist, he's supposed to be the best or whatever. So I go see this rheumatologist, and he does this good workup on me. And he was like, no, you don't have any sign of a lupus. You don't meet the markers. He was like, but I want you to go see a neurologist. So I went to go see a neurologist. And in the midst of this, he sent me to get all these tests. I had to get
probably a CAT scan.
No. You didn't. What do you do when you have a baby?
Oh, ultrasound.
No, epidural. Not epidural, but what is it called?
Ultrasound.
No, when they stick the needle in your spine.
No, that's an epidural.
Epidural. Okay,
yeah. Epidural?
I had to get an epidural. I had to get an MRI. So in the midst of this, and this is so it's not, I want to say traumatizing, but it is. This is what I remember about my disease. But in the midst of this, I'm like, I feel like somebody has beat me with a bat, right? One day. So you do all your tests and you still wait on it to come back. So I cannot, I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital. I I feel bad. I'm not feeling well. I feel like literally, how you work out really well and your whole body is sore. That's how my whole body felt. So I ended up getting to the hospital. My grandmother at the time was a nurse at DMC in the ER. So they sent me back, and I'm like, Grandma, I'm still not feeling good. And she's like, okay, well, we're gonna check you out, this and this and this. So they called my doctors. I'm like, well, I've been getting worked up by my doctors, this and this. So I'm in there. All I hear is my grandma crying. My grandma, and if you guys ever met my grandma, you would understand what, because my grandma was a crier, right? Okay. And she had this high pitched voice. Oh my God! Oh, she was so extra, right? So I just hear, I'm like, Grandma, what's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, you have MS. The doctor said it. What? So I was so relieved.
Really? Because I found out what it was.
Because you go through so much. I'm speeding through the story, but you gotta understand, it's 3 or 4 months. I'm off of work. I'm like, I know something. Everybody keeps telling me they don't know what's wrong with me, but I know something wrong with me. Something's crazy going on with my body. She's like, you have MS, this and this and this. So I was 22.
Wow.
22.
Wow. Can you explain what is MS?
So MS is a autoimmune disease. It is actually where your autoimmune is so good that it attacks your body. So things you experience, it attacks your what it attacks though is your myelin sheath. It's the protective covering of your brain and your spinal cord. So it attacks it. So it like things like lesions, and they say lesions, but you know, things like that. It'll open up space so you can have issues with your mobility. You can have issues with I'm so blessed. Let me just say this, yeah. MS it's different types of MS you can have. I have relapse and remittance. That means that I may get sick, but I always come back to my normal self. It's some people that get sick and then they just get sicker and sicker and sicker. It's some people that get sick and they get a little sicker and then they come back to themselves, but they just walking with a limp. Okay. And then some people that get sick again, and now they walking with a cane. You know, like so it's like, and then there's some people that just go totally downhill and can't eat, can't talk. So I am totally blessed. So MS is different in everybody. It affects different people. It actually affects males worse than it affects females. It's very prevalent in the African American community. But we all. I actually have a person on my board who has MS too, and it's so like we've been bonding over that. And she just got diagnosed. She's in her late 40s or early 50s, and she's a white female. So it doesn't know who it's going to attack. We know there's no studies out and say, hey, you got it because of this. But it's been a journey. It's really been a journey, and it's something I had to kind of really rely on mindset. Because when I first got diagnosed, I'm going to they have like all these dinners, and at the time it was a newscaster for Fox 2, I believe, and she had got MS.
I can't remember her name. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then somebody like the mayor's wife or the mayor's, who was the mayor at the time? It wasn't Duggan because he was the mayor of DMC. He was the president of DMC at that time, but whoever was before Duggan, his Bing. Wasn't it Bing? It was Bing.
Was it Bing?
Yeah. His wife or her mother or something like that had MS. So it was all this stuff going on in Detroit, like little events, and they would invite anybody. Like, I would get a free ticket because I was newly diagnosed and stuff. So I'm going to these events and I'm learning more about the disease, but also I'm getting to meet all these people with the disease. And like, I had to stop. Because I'm seeing people younger than me in wheelchairs, and you talking about you can't talk. No, like I'm probably because I could laugh about it, but I was like, oh damn, I can't be around these people. Like, nah, And then but also it kind of got me into the space. Like, oh, am I gonna be like this forever? Because I'm still not feeling good. But once I started taking, after they found out what I had, they put me on a really big dose of like steroids. So when they put me on this big dose of steroids, I started slowly coming back. It took a minute, but I started slowly coming back. I started going back to work. But when I got back to work, I wasn't ready to go back to work. I think I just had a force. But it's cool because I got my mindset back because I thought I was about to get Social Security. I thought I was, they told me I shouldn't have kids, or in my mind, they told me I couldn't have kids. But really what they were saying is that if you wanted to have kids, you kind of got to plan it because the type of medicine you were on. I end up, I think almost to the day, a year after I got diagnosed is when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter.
Oh, wow.
So like my daughter was like my saving grace. Like, it's so funny. Like I always say, like, she was like, I had a dream I had a baby, and I remember I woke up from the dream like, what? Who baby was that? And it was like this little fair skinned baby with this big round face and just smiling, and I was like, who baby is that smiling? And he was like, that's your baby. I was like, that's my baby. And I tell you, my daughter came out looking just like that baby. And this was like kind of, when I had that dream, was kind of near where I was newly diagnosed and things like that. But crazy. I don't know. I think after I had my daughter, I couldn't think about me having MS.
Yeah.
I couldn't, like, it's just like, okay, yeah. I mean, people got stuff, like, I can't, and it's so funny because sometimes I have to remind myself now because I'll get up and I don't feel good, right? Like, oh, you being lazy, this and this. And I have to check myself like, girl, you do got MS. It's okay not to feel good. Like, but I think with anything, cancer, diabetes, you know, anything you going through health wise, it's all a mindset. That's the
Absolutely.
biggest part of it. If you think you're gonna die, you're gonna die. If you think you're gonna be sick your whole life, you're gonna be sick. Everybody I talk to that just harps on it. It's so funny on Facebook, and I know, you know, I'm a realtor, so I accept anybody as my friend. So I really don't know who this person is by name, or like, you know, I don't know how we related. But she was speaking so negative, like, well, not. She's speaking her truth, so she wasn't speaking negative, but she was talking about it, and she was like, yeah, so I just found out that I'm going to have to be on this medicine. It's called Ocrevus, you know, for my MS, and it's damaging, and I don't know what I'm going to go through. Like, it was just like, it was the worst medicine she could ever be on. And y'all just pray for me. And I was like, and I commented like, hey, I've been on it for 5 years. You want to call me? Here's my number. Like this. And I'm just like, I could tell she newly diagnosed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because her mindset is so this and this, that. And like, I done been on other medicine that they gave me, and I couldn't barely walk. Like, I was like, oh, I'm never taking that again, you know? Yeah. So it's actually one of the better medicines, but it's just mindset. But her mindset being like that, I know she about to be sick. Like,
it's hard.
I don't want to say that, but
no, it's hard.
It's like, if you think like that, you will be, you know? Yeah. And like, just like, and you know what's the number one trigger for MS? And I was talking to actually the lady on my board, and I was like, I need you to calm down. I'm like, hey, I know you're very passionate about everything we got going on, but you're taking it, you know, you got to calm down a tad bit, because the biggest trigger for flares for MS is stress. That's it. Like, and this is trick. All of us gonna get sick if we stressed out. Your heart gonna start hurting. Your head, you got headaches now. You know, like, stress is the biggest, but it's truly the trigger. Like, literally, and I learned to control, like, let go of things I cannot control. But literally, the times I got sick and actually had to go to the hospital is when I was stressed out.
Yeah. So what do you do? Do you have like something you do daily just to help you stay positive and to just keep that positive mindset and not let things stress you out?
So let me just say this. I think we all try to keep a positive mindset. It's always about redirecting, and I'm learning. Like, guys, let me just say, I'm not perfect, but prayer, that's for me, have always been it for me. Like, just throughout my life, no matter what, I just feel like, you know, God, if God took me through this, it's a purpose, it's a plan, it's a reason why, and he's going to see me through it, and I'm meant to live in abundance. Like, you know, prayer, manifestations, affirmative work, affirmations. And I actually got a new one. This guy said this, and I thought it was kind of dope. It was like, what he say? My life is good, and it only would get better. Like, it was simple. Like, you know, we always say, like, I am beautiful, I am this, I am that. But it was like, you know how sometimes we be reflecting on stuff, and we be thinking that, like, oh, dang, I wish I could do this, or this and this, or sales down, or personal life ain't it, this and this. But no, my life is good, because it's much better than somebody else in a different position. Like, we really need to say that. And also, no matter what the economy, no matter what Trump is doing, my life is only going to get better. It's not going to get worse. We're not going to lose our job. We're not going to, like, you know. So I think that is really positive. But I'm really, like, and it's so funny, I have a business coach, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm focusing more onto my disease and what I need personally, because I'm such a hard worker. I'm such a hustler. I'm a realtor. I'm going to answer my phone. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there. And he said something to me that was so profound. Y'all, it made me stop everything. He said, I can't even work with you on real estate. Like, we can't even get there. He's like, because once you focus on you, everything real estate wise is going to fall in place. He said, I need you to, he's like, listen. And he was like, I know, because he's new. I just newly paid coach. I didn't pay for it. I had him, he's like, I've been knowing you for a month. And when I tell you, this tore me up. He was like, I've been knowing you for a month, but I can tell you right now, if something happened to you regarding your health, you don't have nobody that's going to help you. And I was like, he's like, I could tell you, you're so, like, he was like, I could tell you are that person for everybody else, and nobody's going to be there to help you. He's like, so why don't you, he like, you have to stop everything and focus on you. He's like, you have to say no. He went down to, like, I need you to get a massage. I need you to take a bath. I need you, like, he's a really high level coach. He's out in Miami. He has teams here, there. Like, you know, you start having teams in different states. You on a different level. Right. And he just was like, I can't even, he was like, Danielle, he was like, if I can get you together, then everything regarding real estate was just falling. He's like, because you know it. You been performing at this level and you damn near fucked up, what he wanted to say, you know.
Yeah.
And you performing so good. And he was like, I just need you to focus on you. So when you talking about like, what did I do? I still get in no negative spaces. Like I'm learned, like this has been a journey of a month of me doing self-care. Like, and I had that conversation with him, right? And then I was talking to a herbalist because I'm trying to think about like diet and like, because I just don't want to get, like, I'm not saying I've been sick, you know, but I have those moments, but I know it's our diets. I know it's the food we eat. It's this doctor called Dr. Wall. She got diagnosed with MS. She's a doctor by trade, but she was literally in a wheelchair. She changed the way she ate and was up and walking, talking. Now she's getting millions of dollars to research MS right now. Like, no, she's totally fine, literally just from diet. So like, I'm like, I gotta change my diet. I gotta get to the health, you know. So I reached out to a herbalist, and she gave me some pills, and because she actually about to get her doctorate. Congrats to her, but she's actually about to be a doctor rather. She gave me some pills, and she was just explaining. She has been doing research on autoimmune. That's why we kind of connected. And like, this is really what this lady do. Do y'all know this lady? I'm not telling her nothing. She don't know me personally. Don't know me at all. And she's like, damn, you need to focus on you. Like, here go another person. Yeah. Right. Like, you totally don't know me. She's like, and she was like, you need to get a massage. You need to be taking baths. Like, it's the same. Like, massage and baths.
It's like, God telling you
need to be right now. What else you need to do this.
Yeah.
You need to do this for yourself. This and this. I'm like, she's like, I just can tell you're that type of person. I can tell. She was like, you have $1 million mindset. But you have the what she say? You have the capacity to do so much, but you can't do it if you don't focus on you. So like everybody, and it was like my cousin said it was like, you need to start doing it, because she didn't got into her little herbalistic life. Like, you know, everybody has kind of been saying this to me, so I'm really taking the time to like really, what is my morning routine? We all know that everywhere we go, you need to have a morning routine. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to work out. And we don't follow it. We get up, that phone ring, we check our messages, our kids need to go to school, we doing everything we need to do to get on with our day. But like, I really been like, I really don't, because I'm the type of person, I'll be at my office at 7 a.m. It's my office. Nobody asks me to be there. I will be there at 7 a.m. because that's how I feel like I need to be working, right? I'm really that anal. But I would really like, I'm taking my time. Like, I got my little Peloton. I get on that for 15 seconds. I know. But I listen to some positive, motivational, take a bath, you know, whatever. Take my time in the morning. Go make breakfast. I never make breakfast. Like, go make breakfast. Get up to the office, work, XYZ. Then I always feel like I had to be there all the time. After I got done with my work, I've been going home. Like, I'm here. I'd be like, oh, bitch, I just had a team meeting. I'd be like, oh, no, it's my team meeting day. I need to be there because they want to talk to me afterwards. I was like, hey, I'm hard stop at 7:15. If y'all not here at 6, I'm starting at 6. And then when I'm 7:15, I'm in it. But I'm just pushing back. And I'm learning to make space, setting boundaries. Because, you know, like, I don't want to be running this race. And, yes, God has been great to me and I'm doing good. But that's going to take a toll on my body. And I actually have... you know, something that could really, you know, take me down. Like, I really I really am fighting against that, and I gotta treat myself better. And that's just with stress and being overworked and doing this and doing that. No, chill. The money is gonna come. I don't even care no more. Like,
so you got a vacation plan?
I did before the planes. I'm too scared. I want to chill all day, but I'm scary. I'm one of the people that
I've been feeling like that too about the planes. Like,
I'm not a
heights person. You guys, we're talking about Brooke who's about to go down the other side of the country in a plane right now. No, I'm joking. But there's so many things that I do like want to say to you, and we can talk about after, because I went through medical trauma. And there's a couple things that you pinpoint that I think are so important. Mental health and medical trauma is huge, and the problem is it's not number one, it's not validated, and it's not looked at as a part of being a mental health or illness. I believe that PTSD after medical trauma is very real. It's not medically diagnosed, and I have been fighting for a very long time to get that, because you do go through triggers when you've gone through a medical trauma, and there's so many, but it's never looked at. Like, they were trying to medicate me. There's something wrong with you. You're a hypochondriac. And I'm like, finally, I had a doctor look at me and say, you have PTSD. And I'm like, you think of like veterans or people in war having PTSD. And she's like, no,
it's trauma.
You have medical trauma PTSD. So I commend you, because I do believe that mindset is huge. When I went through mine, I was still playing softball. I was still doing all my stuff. And I had cancer. So I was doing everything that I normally would be doing. But that doesn't ever go away. You still wake up every day
thinking
about it, or get worse, or is it going to come back? And the other thing that you said that was a really big pinpoint for me was your diet. And I fully believe I got breast cancer from my diet, because it didn't run in my family. Nobody had it. I was a triple negative. Like, there was no trigger that would have caused breast cancer. And I fully believe it was everything that I was putting in my body and the stress that I was going through. So there were so many pinpoints that you had talked about that I could fully relate to. And I think it's awesome to continue to go out there and talk about this kind of stuff, because your mental health when you go through stuff is so important. It's so important, and people don't talk about it.
And I think a lot of women, like, especially as leaders, as women, as business owners, we gotta kind of tuck our tails to the things we go through. You know, we can't. You know, like, it took me a while to even speak openly about it. It's not a secret, but if you're not somebody, my friend, I just don't talk about it. But now I feel like I need to, because I'm meeting, everywhere I go, I meet somebody. You know, my first client, no lie. I know that God wants me to speak more on MS and what I go through, or just, you know, be that voice, because my first client as a realtor had MS.
Wow.
That was that little nudge.
It is. Like, you're like,
I was like, so listen, so she didn't have, so her husband, it was her husband and her. And the days that he had to go to the church, because he was really active in the church, they both was retired. I had to go and pick her up. Right? She stayed in South on these apartments, and she had a cane. So, you know, I'm young. I'll come pick you up. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to see this house so cute. So she had a cane and stuff like that. And I don't know what made me, and I took her out a couple times before I asked her, like, what's going on? She's like, oh, I have MS. And I was like, I do too. She's like, you do, baby? She was like, but she got me together, because she got me to a really good neurologist. She's like, no, go to see this one. Because I was like, I'm not taking any medicine. She's like, no, you need to. But I always feel like it's meant, because I just keep connecting. Like, even like my last connection was joining this board, and this lady tell me she has MS, and I'm like, oh, I do. And I'm talking to her like, she's way older than me. I'm telling her everything. Oh, you need to stop doing that. You need this. You need to do this. And she's like, thank you, Danielle. Thank you for telling me that. You know,
you become such an advocate. It's like empowering. It almost makes you forget about stuff, because.
But just like yours with cancer, and you know, it's moms going through depression and so many different things that we can't, because we still got to show up. Who's gonna pay our bills?
Yeah.
You know, who's gonna take care of our kids like us? You know, who's gonna take care of our parents? Like, you know, one of the things that I did, I take care of my mom. You know, so it's not just I'm a single mom. I'm take care of my mom too. So it's so much stuff, you know, that is all on us, and we still got to show up, and then we still don't have time, and then we still got to deal with these issues and fight the world and family. And when do we make time for ourselves? Yeah. You know,
it's like I truly believe that things happen to us in our life a lot of times for other people. Like, I feel like we always are like, well, so many people are like, woe is me, this is happening to me. But we have to look at, like, sometimes things happen for you to help someone else, or to be someone else's motivation or encouragement or whatever. Absolutely. So that's the way I kind of look at things. Like, whenever I experience something that's major in my life, I look at it like, maybe this is for someone else, and my story can actually help someone else. So
it's crazy to even say it. I think cancer actually saved my life. Like, as weird as that may sound, like, I was going through a divorce. I was not living the best lifestyle, I wasn't like putting things in my body, but processed food, alcohol, bartender, smoking. I was doing all the things I wasn't supposed to do. And I fully remember saying this so many times, that I believe going through what I went through not only saved my life, but also allowed me to help others become advocates for their own selves. Because I actually stopped my treatment. I stopped my chemo treatment.
Did you?
I did. After many rounds because I started doing my own research.
Okay.
And doctors, they're human like us. I was misdiagnosed, being put through treatment that I shouldn't have been put through. And you learn from a book.
They're not perfect.
They're not perfect. And you learn from a book. And I like kept all my records. I went through everything. And so I actually stopped my chemo treatment, my second round, 6 out of the 12 rounds. I went to my doctor and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, why? And he was like, oh, you're actually right. Like, so we stopped, and but you have to be the advocate of your own body. And then when you start to have that, I've always said that you have to be the advocate of your own body. And then when you talk to other people, you can help them advocate and learn. But people used to say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And I'm like, why? Like, why are you sorry? Because I'm not. And if I'm not sorry, please don't be sorry. Like, because I actually, as weird as this sounds, I think cancer actually saved my life and put me on a complete different path in my life. And I don't regret an ounce of anything that I went through.
That's that mindset you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
I want to touch on the women's empowerment because I know that's big for you. Can you tell us, so you sit on a panel, you said?
No, I sit on the board.
On the board, okay. Tell us about that.
So, it's through EXP, my brokerage. So it's the only real estate board or group inside of EXP that is also, it's not only limited to realtors, it's also to staff. So the board is comprised of staff, leaders. I mean, it's so many women bosses on that group. I mean, it was so funny. We had one, she's a broker, a commercial broker in Miami. And she had, a $13 million sale in December. And I was like, Jesus. I was counting up. We was like, congratulations, Lord Jesus.
Where are we going on vacation?
She's a broker. Like, so then when do you have time to do that?
Right.
But like, it's team leads all over. Some of them are just like, developers. Like, so we have awesome women all across the country that is a part of the board. And we just starting off, so we getting, our programming together. We had a summit, and it's open, so I don't know what brokerage you guys are at. If you have your own. Oh, you were? Oh, girl. Okay, so we had a summit last year, right? So I'm the head of events. So if you see anything that we do, I do the events. So we had a summit last year, and that's when we got to announce who's on the board and stuff. But at that summit, it was an all-women summit. It was the best summit I've ever been to.
Amazing.
Best real estate. It wasn't real estate related. Like, it was nothing but realtors in there, people from EXP. Okay. But I've been to so many conferences. I fly out of town. I go here for here. Who's speaking this and this. I invest into my business. I want to learn different things. And I always get the most out of town only because I feel like we're such in a box here. So I'm not saying I'm going to go copy everything this person doing or this even works for me, but I just like to hear something fresh. Maybe I put a Michigan spin on it.
Right.
So I just like it. I love to hear, I just get energized to come back and fight this market. But I went there. And I keep saying it, and it actually was voted the best event for, I don't know the correct terminology, but whatever, the best event last year.
Where was it at? What state?
Like through the survey, like the surveys, it got the highest score. But we went there, it was, Kendall Bonner, she is the...
we interviewed Kendall.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Was that like the lawyer? Was that the lawyer?
And her mom was...
Yeah.
Maybe she is a lawyer.
She started, I think didn't she start off as a
her mom was a
lawyer?
doctor, and then she's a lawyer.
That was her, I loved interviewing her.
Yeah.
So, we had all these wonderful women up there, right? And we were talking about different things. It was a panel about... wealth, building generational wealth. It was a panel about navigating, life and work and things like that. We had an awesome speaker, Bessie Myers. So we're doing a series right now with Bessie Myers. You guys will love it. I'm telling you.
Where was this at?
This is what EXP. It's but it's we just do a Zoom. Every 2 weeks. It's a series, like a little.
Where was the actual event held?
In Austin, Texas. Okay, so sorry.
Okay.
So anyway, Bessie Myers was the speaker. She's kind of touched on imposter syndrome, right? How we show up, and this is what this series is about. So it's like an extension of that, but just how as women we show up, and we. Okay, so look, she had an exercise, and it was talking about tell everybody I want to write down all your accomplishments. Do you know how many women had trouble writing down their accomplishments? Or when they said their accomplishment, they attributed it to someone else. Like, I have the number one team, but I have also the best team leader. I mean, I have the best trainer in the business working for me.
Oh, wow.
Or, I did 10 million in sales, but, my transaction coordinator is the reason why I got here. Like, we don't just, like, but
we don't just take it.
If it's a man, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I did 10 million in sales, and I have this and this and this, and I have a degree from Harvard, and this and this. And we always kind of, So it just talked about how we show up and how we need to show up as women. But the panels, and we, it was a lot of free speaking and things, and like everybody was up there just telling their truth. Like it was a lady in the audience. She talked about how her husband held her back. Like, she ended up getting divorced from her husband. Like, he never really supported her when she first started. She wanted to be successful. She was like, now she got a divorce. Now she really can't, do what she needs to do in her business. Like, and it was some other women that chimed in on, mates that are not really there for you. Then we had a lady get up there and was in tears talking about how her husband is the reason why she's so successful, how he recently passed away, and she wouldn't even be here. She wouldn't even got into sales because he pushed her to it. And he made her confident. It was people getting up talking about mom guilt. About, hey, there was a lady up there on the panel. She's so beautiful. I love her. And she was talking about how, like showing up. It was about generational wealth and doing what she do for what she does for her family for generational wealth. But she had a moment where she started crying because she has a son who's I believe he's autistic, and she felt bad because she's like, I'm away. He having a spell. And just everybody just like, oh wow, like everybody was just. Kendall was talking about when she went through a moment where she was just so stressed out, where she just wanted to lay in her bed. I think we all had a moment where we didn't want to do nothing but lay in our bed, So it was just like, yes, we talked about real estate somewhat and stuff, but we talked about. I felt seen. You ever had a moment where you like, oh, this is not just a black thing. Yeah. It's not just a woman thing. Because there's some guys, couple guys. It's not a, this is not a real estate thing. This is a mom thing. This is everybody's thing.
Validated.
Oh, okay. That was your husband that hated on you, but that was my boyfriend who hated on me.
Yeah.
Like, didn't want to see me successful. I get it, girl, It was a lady, and I thought this was so great. She was a new agent, and I love when new agents take the time to invest in something like that, because it's hard. I don't know, that's extra money spending. But she was like, I'm a mom of 5 kids. I started my first kid at 17. Wow. I've never done anything for me. She's like, real estate is the one thing I'm doing for me. And I was like, can you please get up there and tell your story? Like, I'm like, she's like, real estate. She's like, I'm going to be successful in it. She was like, because if I can raise 5 kids, if I can work jobs I didn't want to work, she was like, this is what I want to do. This is the one thing I'm doing for me. When I just left there feeling so like, it was like therapy. Yeah. It was like there. So that is definitely, but we're doing another one. It's going to be September 14th through the 15th. So it's like 2 days. Really great. Really impactful. It's going to be in Orlando this year.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. We might have to keep that on our calendar, ladies.
Yeah. It's really nice. Yeah, it's going to be really nice.
It almost makes you feel like you're human. Like, because we women, we do go through so much that, no offense to our production.
You're right.
But you go through so much that a lot of people, unless you're with other women, don't understand. Men, God, I love my husband, but there's some days he can't understand what it's like having period cramps, and then your kids wanting you every 5 minutes. Will could be sitting right here, my kid's over here, and they just bypass him like, mom. Like, sometimes I want to change my name because I don't want to be mom anymore, But unless you feel validated, you feel human. Like, it's like you said, seen. I love that. I love that's like such a empowering word, is feeling seen.
Yeah, that's what we need to.
It's super awesome.
It's very rare that we do. Yeah. Think about it. Like, when we in places, we go about our business, we focus. We're not seen. Yeah. I gotta do this, gotta do that.
I think sometimes we don't know it's expected. Yeah. Like, it's expected of us as women to do all those things and fulfill all those roles. So that's pretty awesome.
And for people to be vulnerable and just share
That's hard,
what
too.
they're going through, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people feel alone. They feel like they're dealing with something that not everybody else deals with, because
Yeah.
people aren't vulnerable. They don't share that. I mean, how many times have you struggled in real estate or something, but you're around all these top
Success-
producers,
So they
say.
and then you think something's wrong with you. You're
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with me? Like, how
Yeah.
come I'm not getting all these deals? But then when that one person comes up to you and is like, look, my first year, I didn't do any deals. You're like, oh, for real?
Yeah.
What? Like, that's okay, so I'm not doing so bad.
Yeah.
Right? So I just think when people are vulnerable, that's really special.
I think the thing is, and this is why I always try to be, and I know perception is reality, but I always try to be authentic in real estate.
Yeah.
Like, I always try to be like, hey, you need help with something, this and this and this. Of course, I'm busy, my head be down sometimes, but like, that's the main purpose why I started a team. Because I'm already, EXP, I was mentoring like 10 agents at one time. It wasn't a big
that's a
stretch
lot.
to start a team.
Yeah.
Because I'm still mentoring and I'm still busy as ever. So I'm like, at least if I get them in a team, then I can just have one meeting and talk about everything I need to talk about, go over contracts, this and this and this. But it also was that like, hey, I wish I had a me when I first started. Like, one of the biggest things I told my team, I said, hey, you're not going to be here forever. I was like, a team is where you get started, where you're going to learn things. Like, you're going to leave me. I said, but you're going to leave me right, and you're going to be out here, and you're going to be successful, So it's not that I just want all these people to be around me. It was that I was so busy, I didn't have time. And then also, I'm mentoring. Hey, let's just throw this. This is probably the best thing I can possibly do. But I also wanted to be that I didn't want that, like that I didn't have anyone that made me feel good about it, that made me let me know I was doing good or I wasn't doing good or what I need. I just had to figure everything out on my own. Like, y'all don't have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And what's so funny, because I just had a meeting today and I damn near was telling them, you need to figure some stuff out. Because that does make you a good agent. Figuring the stuff out your age. I'm pretty sure that's why you guys are good
It's
at
so
what
funny.
you do.
My therapist actually said this the other day, and I was laughing when you just said, like, could you imagine, like, talking to people? So she's like, you could be getting in a dog-out fight with your husband, your kids are driving you nuts, but the minute you walk into church and someone looks at you and says, how are you doing? You instantly like, oh my gosh, I'm so good. It's so nice to see you.
Right.
But could you imagine if, like, you walked up to me and said, hey, how you doing? I'm like, you know what? I just got in a fight with my husband. My kids are driving me nuts. I'm tired, but you know what? I'm here and I'm going to make my day
would
great.
love that.
Could
I
you
would
imagine if people just started doing that? Like, let's talk. Like, if people actually, and she said that, and I'm like, but she's so right. Like, how many times do you walk up to someone and like, how are you? Like, I'm great. And inside you're like, no, I'm actually not. Like, sales suck. I'm mad at so-and-so. My team's not producing. If we just actually came out and just said it.
Or had that safe space.
And have that vulnerability or safe space to say it and know that people wouldn't look at you and be like, oh.
I had a moment like that, right? Just like you're speaking. I was going to Tim Hortons. I don't know. For some reason, I spent the night over my stepmom house. Oh, she had just had surgery. So anyway, I was having a bad, not a day, week, month, right? So I'm just down and I'm just in my head. You know how sometimes we just be moving, but we just in our head. So I'm walking into Tim Hortons and going to get me some coffee. And the person looked at me. She's like, hey, how you doing? She smiled so big and was like, how you doing? I was like, I'm not doing good. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, but you made me feel so good. Like, her smile was just so genuine. Like, at the whole Tim Hortons was just so nice. I'm like, oh my. It made me snap out of my head like, okay, life is good.
Right.
People are happy. You're the one
And it's
sitting here
okay to go through whatever you're going through.
Yeah, like I just really wish like outside of the board and things like that realtors would come together and have that safe space. Let the egos go, see how we can help each other. Of course, we got to advocate for our clients, so we're going to have our little, XYZ, but just being real. Like, my biggest thing is that I know I made a substantial salary in real estate that most people would not probably make with a job or with a degree. And I would love to teach other women how to make money like that or what I've done. Like, and I'm learning, and this is something I want to share this with you guys. It said that I'm learning about potential, right? Because we always think, okay, you could do it, this and this and this, right? Somebody said something that kind of sat with me, and I was like, oh, do I do this? It was, that person, I don't want to get it right, but basically that maybe it's not the potential. Maybe it's that you are thinking about what you would do if you were in that same situation, if you were in their shoes, right? So like you think somebody has potential, like, okay, yeah, this part, you can do this, you're going to be so good, you know, all these people, you have a great spear, this and this and this. Is it true that they have potential, or is it that if you were in their shoes with those people, with that spear,
what would you do?
You would excel with it.
Right.
Like, and it made me kind of sit back, and it makes me reflect with having a team and things like that. But really, it's just like, well, if nothing else, I'm going to give you my tools of success, what I do, what should be your habits. Even if I don't do it, I know that will take you to another level. But I'm willing to give you all that because I want to see you win. And I truly want to see you win. I want to see you win when you don't leave, when I don't get a portion of your commission, you know?
Right.
I really want to see you win. And I just think that as women, even if it's not in that space of, bring each other up financially, even in just seeing you win and just helping you mentally. Like, hey, how your day? Like, what you going on? Like, what
fix each other's
you ain't been
crumbs.
posting on social media. What's going on with you?
Right.
Well, you know, you gotta get your social media up. Like, like just holding each other, accountable and just, being there. And then also opening up to be free to, like, a safe space. Like, like when somebody opens up something personal about themselves, it opens you up, So
yeah. Well, I know we're
We're wrapping up,
but I just before we wrap up, and we usually do have a few questions we ask.
Okay.
But even before we do that, I just want to thank you so much because me just sitting here like I didn't say much because when I'm like really like taking something in, I don't say much. I really literally just take it in, and that's what I've been doing the whole time. But you've been like so motivating. Encouraging, just like everything.
Oh, thank you so
and
much.
I just want to thank you for
appreciate
that.
it.
So,
Energy is amazing.
yeah,
for sure.
Awesome. And so we do ask a few questions.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask a question we haven't asked in quite some time.
Okay.
What is something no one knows about
That was going to
you?
be my question.
How do we always have
I
the
know.
same
I've been like sitting here pondering, and I was like,
I was thinking about like we
Okay.
haven't asked that in a while.
okay.
Okay.
You got it.
No one knows, or just like that you probably wouldn't know. I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So I used to work for the National Counterterrorism Building.
Wait, say that again?
National Counterterrorism Building.
That's here?
I used to live in DC.
Oh. Okay.
So I literally used to go to work, and it would be like these huge guns and guards, and I had to have a badge, and I had to get swiped in, and I worked.
How did
with
we
all
miss
types
that
of
part of the
CIA
story?
agents. No, it was like so I'm sorry. Before I went to Wayne State, I
was
moved
like, how
to
did
DC.
that get
and
left out of the
I
story?
was going to school, and everybody in DC worked for the government. My aunt and uncle I lived with worked for the government, and they got me a job. And my job was working where my uncle worked, but he was like I believe out of CIA or something like that. But I was in there, and I was just like maintenance, like cleaning and stuff like that. But it paid really, really good. I had to get a clearance. I had to get interviewed. All this
You
stuff.
knew you were protected.
Yeah, but like literally, it would be armed, and I'm like, this is crazy. You couldn't have your phone. Like,
Wow,
it was so
you couldn't
crazy.
have your phone?
Like that is, and it was so funny. And I always say somebody always reaching down and talking to me. I remember this lady, and she had to be really high up, and I was in the bathroom like cleaning out the tissue. I mean, whatever, taking the trash, whatever. And she was like, "Listen, you keep this job, you get your next clearance." She was like, "You gonna keep going up." She was like, "Here's my card. Call me if you want to stay in this industry. I got you." And I'm like, and I'm in there cleaning up and stuff. I'm like, I'm 18. Like, I literally had that job at 18. But yeah, that was like a big one. It was, you can't find it on the map. We had to catch a bus and then catch something else.
No way.
Like, it was a certain thing we had to do to get there. Like, it was really
So it's
dope.
like a secret.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we totally just bypassed that.
Yeah, this
part
is
of
like
the story.
2006, 7. No, this is like 2007. So this is like post September 11.
Yeah, post 9/11.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well.
I would have never guessed that. Okay, well,
All right.
so so I'll ask you, since Tyra took my question.
Okay.
If you were to go back and tell your younger self something, what would it be?
Stop worrying.
That's a good one.
Stop worrying. I was
Everything
such a
will be
worrier.
okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was one of those kids that would look at the bills. Like, you know, like, oh, I wonder if she's gonna have enough to pay. Like, you know, like not like I just worried. I just worried about everything.
That's where you got your hustle from.
Probably so.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
This whole time I was like, what made you?
What was that? Yeah, trigger.
Hustler. Yeah. Okay, my question is, what is your craziest real estate story?
Oh.
We know you got to have one in there.
I just gotta think. It's probably so many. Like something happened crazy.
Anything that's
Something you've seen in a house, one of your clients crazy, one of the owners,
like a holy shit, this really just happened moment.
one of the other agents.
Dang, why am I throwing a blank? Because I know it's something crazy. Maybe I just probably feel like it's normal. Let me think. Craziest story. Okay. So, not so much the craziest story, but I had a husband and wife who absolutely hate each other that was going through a divorce.
I had that before.
And the guy was treating the house so bad. Like, it's like, let's say, well, they both was on the mortgage. Okay, she on the mortgage. He, they both on the deed. So they both got to sell it. House so bad, like, to the point where I walked in the house and it was like shavings, hair shavings all over the house. Like, it was a mess. And like, he would like use me to come over. So I made him pay. I made her, whatever. They had to pay for a cleaner, got it done. So he would use me to come over and like, okay, we got to go over the deal XYZ, but just so he can talk to his ex-wife. Like, you know, like, 'cause that was his way to talk to her because she wouldn't talk to him regardless if it wasn't to the house. And then he'd start cussing her out. Why you beat her?
And you're just sitting there like,
I'm like, hey, I gotta go. And then at the end, he was like, yeah. Then at the end, he was like, yeah, so you got a man? I said, no.
Lord.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
I absolutely do.
yeah.
But that was the crazy. I mean, it's probably something else that I couldn't think of on spot, but that would made me the most uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Especially when they start going at it, you're just like, look at the time.
And she was scared. And like, she was literally scared of him. Like, I could tell. I could tell he must have been a bit. Yeah, because she never came to the house. She didn't come to closing. She didn't do anything. Like, she had to sign everything.
She just wanted to be done and out.
Yeah, I could tell he must have been abusive to her. Because she was just like, okay, whatever. And like, well, you could come over here and see. He was like, no. She's like, no, I'm not coming over here and seeing it. It's like, I'll pay for it, whatever needs to be done. I'm like, oh.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting story. I said that's amazing, but I'm just even trying to picture being in that situation.
Yeah. Well, speaking of women empowerment, it is Women International Day on the 8th.
Saturday. Yep.
And we are going to be doing our annual women's event.
Yes.
It's going to be at Social Brews in Detroit at 7 to 8 p.m.
No, 7 to 10. 7 to 10. I was going to ask you, you put 7 to 8.
7 to 8.
No, it's 7 to 10. I almost said something to you and I forgot to say it because I looked at it.
Doors open at 7, starts at 8.
Oh, I asked later.
Social Brews in Detroit.
Social Brews in Detroit.
I asked you later.
Yeah. And we definitely would love you to be a guest with us.
So I will also, I know it's before your event, but I'm having my grand opening of my office on Saturday from 3 to 6.
Okay.
So if you guys can stop, that's in Southfield. I don't know how far close that is.
Yeah.
I'll send you guys the information.
Yeah.
But
So absolutely.
So I come over afterwards.
Okay,
I come over afterwards.
And if you come over, we'd love to have you as a guest on our panel. If you'd
you
be interested.
you doing a panel on that? Oh, yeah, you know what? Robert just shared it with me. Okay, I was really reading it. Okay.
So if you're available, we'd absolutely love to have you as a panel. On our panel, we do a big interview with some amazing women, and it's our 6th annual.
Oh,
so it's been a long journey, and we've had a lot of fun with it. So
you guys are
and
consistent.
we would love you. Like, you would be like the perfect guest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make it.
Okay.
Hopefully they don't try to keep me in there too long. But yeah, 7 to 8.
All right.
You said 7 to
7 to
10.
10.
So
7 to 10.
Okay.
7 to 10.
Starts at 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it.
Yes.
The panel started at 8.
Panel starts at 8.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
So, well, thank you so much for being here
Thank
with
you.
us.
I enjoyed myself.
Definitely motivated, and your energy, like I said, is absolutely amazing. So,
Definitely.
Brooke, you want to close us out?
Thank you guys for tuning back into the RPR podcast. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace. Bye guys.